Hello everyone and welcome back to Made by Boo. My name is Shannon and I am filming from outside of Boise, Idaho. I have a couple of finished objects today. I have some knitting and crochet to talk about. So I'm going to dive right in with my first finished object. I am super excited about these. As always, I forget to grab out my tags first, but here they are. So these are a pair of vanilla socks I'm referring to as my Rainbow Connection socks. When I last showed them, I was about right here. I took the marker out because I blocked the socks, and I now have gone to a fully knitted pair. Obviously, they are mismatched on purpose. I could not accidentally make the rainbow up here on one and down here on the other. But the idea was kind of just because I couldn't decide which way I wanted to do it at first, if I wanted the rainbow up here or on the foot, because I thought they both looked cool. And then as I was making them, and I had already decided to do both, I realized that as you cross your feet sometimes, like when I put one over the other, they don't match up perfectly, but I almost kind of connect the rainbows, which was just a silly thing for me. These socks are using the green, remember which sock I'm looking at, is from FanGirl Fibers. It is the color Kermit the Frog here. And then my rainbows are made using the Woolly Dragon Infinity Stone Rainbow Set. These I have been... Oh no. I think I have a dropped stitch. I'm going to have to fix that. Now I'm so distracted because I can see there's like no way it's going to show up on there. But I've got that little loop where apparently I managed to get all the way to the end with this dropped stitch and not notice and block it, and everything was fine. So I'm going to have to do a little bit of repair work on that, but that will be easy enough. Most likely I will just get a little bit of this yarn, weave it in as much as I can, and then kind of sew it with scrap yarn on the other side to hold it secure. So weird that I didn't notice that along the way. So I was making these socks to wear to the Muppet movie. It's going to be showing in a theater in Boise next weekend, and it's a silly thing, but I am so excited to wear my Kermit the Frog Rainbow Connection socks to go see Kermit the Frog sing the Rainbow Connection. So these were just vanilla socks. I'm going to be so distracted by that. I'm going to repair that later today, but vanilla socks on magic loop. I used to always do all of my socks on double pointed needles. I can't remember the last time I wanted to use double pointed needles. I taught myself how to do magic loop because I just kind of wanted to try it and expand and grow, and now it's all I really want to use. So my other finished object, I started to get kind of in the mood to crochet, and all the projects I had going were all knit. So it was kind of a work in progress before. This was a kit. I just got it off Amazon. I don't even have like the packaging or anything anymore. I had made this little outside pumpkin basket, and then I made the two little things inside. I know I'm showing you this in May, almost June, but I don't care. I love Halloween all the time, and I love ghosts. So I have made a little ghosty and a witch hat, and the little mini pumpkin. I had started the little pumpkin basket set a while ago, and then just kind of moved on and didn't feel like finishing it. And when I started getting the itch to crochet, instead of starting another big project first, I finished this little one that I had. I don't really have any plans for this pumpkin with the toys in it right now. It's just going to sit around. I really do like making amigurumi and toys like that sometimes, but I mean, I really don't do much with them. I tend to just kind of leave them. I have like a big bucket of them, and my daughter will play with them sometimes, but for the most part, they just sit there. Like, they don't really do anything. So yeah, those are my only finished objects. I will dive right into works in progress. I have 5 works in progress to talk about. I will start with the quick and easy ones. This is a pair of socks I started because I needed a quick pair of socks, so it hasn't gotten a lot of work. It's something I'll just pick up when I need something little to work on here and there. Like when I was working on my Rainbow Connection socks, doing all those stripes in the car was just kind of a pain, and most of the time I work on my socks in the car. So I had just this other pair of socks that I could pick up. I've also worked on it sometimes when I'm waiting, like while my child's taking a bath or something, and I just need something I can work on for a minute that I can do a small amount on and be fine. So here are the socks. This is where I was last time, and this is still the first sock. This is a self-striping yarn. It is Silly Socks Flower Pop from Hobie. I don't remember what they call the color online. They always just put the numbers. It's color number 5. They only put the numbers on there, so I don't remember what the color name was. These ones will probably be worked on for a while. I'm not in any real rush. I like the colors because it's got that like fun kind of sunset look to it, but also I don't have anything that I feel like would make a great contrasting heel. And I really hate doing heels in self-striping yarn that mess up the heel. So I still haven't exactly decided how I'm going to do it because I don't like messing up the stripe pattern. I did see briefly a pair of socks online that I'm considering trying the heel for. It was just like I think I saved it on Instagram or something, where it was a heel that seemed to use increases in ribbing to make it so that instead of like doing a heel flap, it would just kind of stretch when you put it on. But it wasn't like short rows or anything. I'm not sure. I need to look it up. I saved it to look at how it's done later. I'm saying a lot, sorry. So I don't really have a huge timeline on those, so I may look that up first before I get to the heel. It's not my only pair of socks that's currently going, and I actually wound up yarns to do 2 more pairs of socks. I do celebrate, for lack of a better term, summer sock camp, and that did just start. It's the sock make-along hosted by the Crazy Sock Lady. I am just making socks, which I would do anyways, but it's kind of fun to know that a lot of people are making socks at the same time, even if that's not different at any other time of the year. I cast these on last night. These are, let me see, I've had this pattern printed up for years. Okay, so it is Skimmer Socks by Sheila Toy Stromberg. And I am not very far on them because, again, I just cast them on last night. So you start with knitting the toe, and then once you get like a good toe going, you switch to doing back and forth and just do the sole, and then you knit the heel and then do a ribbing at the top. I've made them a few times. They're the kind of socks that go like, they're skimmer socks, so it's not, they're like no-show socks basically. They usually do show with, I think they're actually Bob's. They're like these Skechers versions of Tom's, but that kind of loafery type shoe. And they usually do show a little bit with those, but I don't really care that much. I kind of like making them. They're a nice, fun way to still be able to knit socks that feel comfortable in the summer. This yarn is from Ruby and Roses. I don't remember the color. I pulled it out of my scrap basket because after making a pair of socks, I still had, I believe I weighed it out as like 40 grams. No, it was probably over 50 grams because the way that I'm dividing my scrap yarns, it was in the bucket that was enough to make another pair of socks. So I'm going to make these skimmer socks from this yarn and then weigh it again, and it'll go from there. All right, so the next project that I have to show is... Sorry, just realized my camera might be going right out the open window. I'm trying to let some natural light in, but with the way the angles are, I know I may accidentally put way too much light directly on the lens if I do this wrong. So the next one that I have, I will grab from right here. This is my Geogradient shawl. It is the pattern from Stephen West. It was last year's mystery shawl. And I am working on it using yarn from So Happy Jane. This is on her Joyful Fingering Base, which is an extra fine superwash merino nylon blend, 75/25. And this comes from her Hand-Dyed Happy Yarn Club. Just realizing my little bag of tags from projects I'm working on has gone down significantly, telling me that I must have been finishing a few projects. So I did do a bit of progress on this. For one, you can kind of see when I hold it up, I did start weaving in some of the ends. So the ends from Clue 1 are woven in, some of them from Clue 2. Like there's no more ends right there. I think I got all the ends from Clue 2 woven in. And then I am now working on Clue 3. So the last time I showed this, I was on the first half of Clue 3 where this little fox is. And then Clue 3 goes all the way up to make this tiny little wingtip. So you can see I have all the ends. I probably should have been doing a knit over them as I go method, but I didn't. And then for Clue 3 on the other side, I am not very far. So it starts with, one of the first things you do is this big I-cup cord bind off here, and then you're working on half as many stitches. And I'm going to be working it to do a matching, I guess, kind of triangle with the slip stitches over there. And I just kind of stopped for a little while. I don't really have a good reason why I didn't. I mean, I do a little bit. I really had a hankering to start crocheting, and I was trying to work on a lot of different projects, and I ended up deciding that, you know what, I will finish it, of course, but this kind of got backburnered. So I do still really want to work through Clue 3. I may try to work on that a little bit soon. I mean, all of this I really kind of did in the weekend, not last weekend, but the weekend before when I last filmed. Like, I filmed, finished it that weekend, and then left it alone for 2 weeks. So it's one of those things where clearly the pattern goes quickly enough that if I sit down and work on it, I can finish Clue 3 on the other side. And I really would like to finish this. But it's also, like, we're at the end of May. It's definitely warm. I feel like this would block out to be a nice, I mean, looking at it like that, I'm not sure I'd ever wear it like that, but, sorry, I'm still connected. I feel like it would do a really good, like, drape over the shoulders kind of thing, even in the summer when it's just a little bit chilly in the morning. I went to go sit outside on my porch yesterday morning, and I had my coffee, and I had my knitting, and I was going to sit down and relax, and then I sat down, and it was just enough too cold, and all of my sweaters and jackets that would have been the right temperature were up where people were sleeping, so I didn't want to go get them. So having a shawl like that is available that I can just kind of like throw on my shoulders would have been great. But it's not going to get done in time for that. By the time I finish it this year, it'll probably be too warm in the mornings for a shawl. But that is how far I've gotten on that. I'm still kind of working on it, but it got backburnered by the next two projects I will show. So the next one I will show is one you have also seen. This is the top-down raglan t-shirt that I've been improvising it. I don't have a pattern. I was semi-following a tutorial I found online from Emma in the Moment. Made in the Moment. It's one of those because she has two different channels. She had a tutorial and I used a little bit of her guidance to start, but I've made alterations as well, and it's different yarns. So it's a tutorial if you want to kind of make one up as you go, but it's also not a pattern. It really just kind of gave me a good start of like, hey, where should you take the measurements? And so far it seems to be going well. So I am doing this using Krimke Soul Wool Vegan Cashmere. This is a yarn from Hobbii. It is only available in their point store, which is kind of fun because it means when I'm done, I will not have technically paid for any of this yarn. It's all yarn that I only got from points that you get from spending money, but also like you can get points from playing bingo. I am a Hobbii Plus member, so you get a certain amount of points every month. And you get like scratcher cards. And there's all sorts of little ways that you can earn points outside of just buying things. But some of it does come from, you know, paying money too. So this is color number 15. And they're 50-gram balls. It recommends 3.5 to 4 millimeter needles. I had 9 of these, and I am down to 3.5 left. Now, the plan for this shirt was for it to be short sleeved so that it would be nice during the summer since it's cotton. Let me turn it right side out. Or it would also be something I could like put a jacket or something over when it gets cold because it is decently thick. All right, so here is the front. I did try it on after I split the sleeves just to kind of make sure I gave myself enough room in the arms. And I have not tried it on since then. So last time I showed it, I was up here at this little mustache here. So I got probably about a good 6 inches done since then. And I have these here because this is about how far I got in one of these little donuts. And I want to have one donut left to do the sleeves. But this was about 3 inches with the idea that I'd need about 12 inches under the arms. I should theoretically be able to get the rest of what I needed done with these and then have this one left over to do the sleeves. My current plan is I am going to finish the donut I'm on, take it off the needles enough to try it on, and then maybe do the sleeves. Because I'm not planning on them being very long. I'm really just mostly thinking I'll cast on, do, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 rows, and then some ribbing. Like, I don't want really long sleeves. But I don't quite just want this length either. I do want it to like fully connect to the underarm area. So I'm thinking after I finish this one, do those sleeves, and then I don't have to worry about like, do I have enough yarn left to do the sleeves? And I could just go and make sure it's long enough for it to be comfortable for me. Because I want to be able to wear it to work if I want. So I don't really want it cropped or anything. I want it a length that I can wear it to work. I can wear it around the house. So I don't want it super long, but cropped will also not work. I work with children. The job that I'm in, dropping everything. The job that I'm in, if I showed up in something that counted as a crop top, it would not go over well. I would be asked to cover up a little bit, which, I mean, I feel like that's normal for a lot of, like, if you don't work for yourself. Anyways, that was a long tangent all about how I think I have enough yarn left to finish it. If I don't, I do know I'm in a little trouble because it is only available in the Hobbii Point store. And I think I'm like 1,000 points short of what I would need to get another ball, which would mean I would have to do something to acquire more points. So like buy something. And then as soon as those points hit the point store, make another order in order to get a ball of yarn. And I'm just not quite sure I'm there because I feel like I'm doing really good mostly using yarn that I already have. Not completely, but mostly. All right, so that was a very long, very, very long tangent. So this is the last project that I have as a work in progress. This is mostly using scrap yarn. I do have one from Stash that I don't remember what I planned to do with this, but this is from the Teton Yarn Company. This is the color Driftwood in the Denali fingering, so it is 65% superwash merino, 20% yak, 15% silk. So this is the only thing that was not scrap yarn. I needed one full skein to work on this project. I've kind of said before, I wanted to start working with a lot of my scrap yarns and use some of them up. It was just, I'd been thinking about it for a while, and it really got to a point where I was like, no. I need to organize. I need to make a plan. And I started weighing it out and sorting it in the different areas, which is why I'm working on a pair of socks from ones where it's like, hey, you have enough left over to make a pair of socks here. These are ones where I had between 20 and 40 grams of yarn left. So in this bag, I should have 21 colors now in various shades of blue. Mostly these will be like superwash merino nylon. This one, I think is also lyocell. Some of them have sparkle, some of them do not. They come from lots of different dyers, designers. Like some of them, the colors, these two right next to each other probably don't mesh well, but they're all ones that have shades of blue or purple. I'm pretty sure I dyed this one a very, very long time ago. Possibly using Kool-Aid. I don't know. They're all just shades of blue, and I am putting it into I made it before. I'll have to put the link down because I'm blanking on the title now. But it is a crochet baby blanket. Alright, so my camera's been acting a little funny. We'll see if it cuts me off again. I am working on a crocheted blanket. I was just really in the mood to crochet. I had all of these yarns picked out. They are scrap yarns that are somewhere between 20 and 40 grams of yarn, so that I knew I would have enough to make at least one stripe on this blanket. This is the Crochet Advent Baby Blanket by Lucienne Crochet. I made one earlier this year for my husband using a psych-themed advent calendar, and I really enjoyed working on it. And I loved the idea of making one for myself, and so I decided to use some of my scrap sock yarn. Like, these are not enough to make a pair of socks each. I'm sure I could put them into scrappy socks or combine them somehow, but this is what I wanted to do. All of these are going to be shades of blue and green and purple, or at least have blue or green or purple in them, or coordinate with it. I don't know. So my main color is the Driftwood from Teton Yarn Company. I am not going to be able to remember as we go through where all of these yarns come from. I do know that this one is from Muse 2320. This one is from So Happy Jane. This one I don't know. And then this one, I believe I just used it to make socks such a short time ago. Or maybe it's the leftover of my psych yarn? I don't know. It's one that looks so similar between a couple of different ones. I'm not 100% sure looking at it. It is one that I really, really was in the mood to crochet. So it's gotten a little bit of work on it, but I did also just already show 2 long-term projects that I have been working on. And I don't want to stop working on them just because I got excited by something else. I really do want to push through with my shirt because I can see how much progress I've made already, and I would like for my short-sleeved cotton t-shirt to be done and able to wear it while it is still like short-sleeved cotton t-shirt weather. The shawl, my Geogradient shawl, I definitely want to finish, but that's a little bit more of like, I'd like to finish it before it gets cold, which, to be fair, finishing a fingering weight lap size blanket, there's no real rush on that either because I don't really need blankets much right now. So that is all of my works in progress. My camera was being a little weird and cutting me off, so I'm hoping I didn't lose a whole bunch of footage there. If I did, well, I guess you'll find that out later, or maybe you won't. We'll see. So I do have a few acquisitions and then some life stuff. I actually don't have a lot of acquisitions. I really only have 3 right here. I ordered, these were pre-ordered a little while ago. Some yarn. I ordered these from Ruby and Roses. They were part of her Taylor Swift collection. I didn't order them like just because they were part of the Taylor Swift collection. They're really pretty colors. So this one is Willow and Typewriter, which I love, like the moody foresty color here, but I also have a child who is super excited that this was named Willow. So that was just a whole nother fun thing. So there is Willow and Typewriter. I do tend to go for the sock sets for anything if that's an option. And then this is Love Story and Rosy Cheeks, which is just, it's so sunshiny and very summer and spring, which is pretty much the reason why I liked that one. I mean, probably very strange that I went for like the summery spring and the moody fall winter colors, but I loved them both. So the other yarn that I got in was from my Trilogy Yarns Broadway play themed subscription. So I was kind of excited because when I got this one, it was one I'd heard of. Last time I hadn't heard of it. And so I still have it in the bag to keep it with the playbill, so I'm sorry if that makes it harder to see or more crinkly. It was one that, because I knew I had heard of it and my daughters had heard of it, I made them do a guess on it. So I will kind of do the same for you what I did for them, though you probably have the glare. So covered up the name and showed them, gave them an opportunity to guess the color. And of course, neither of them figured out what it was. Shrek the Musical. I haven't seen it, but I absolutely thought that was a great one to get. I've heard of it. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do with it, but I do like the colors too, even though there is definitely some Shrek green in there, which is not generally my favorite color. So that is all of the knitting, crochet, and yarn content that I have. I actually have had a decently busy couple of weeks. I am filming on Monday of Memorial Day weekend. Normally when I film a little bit earlier in the weekend and then edit and upload later. But it's actually been pretty busy. We've been trying to get out and do some walking, hiking, whatever on the weekends while the weather is really, really good. Get some more exercise and get some sunshine. And last weekend, we wanted to try to see kind of the wildflowers in bloom in the Boise foothills. So my husband looked up a hiking trail that was supposed to be great for it. We have a book where it's like, hey, here's these urban trails. It was listed in there, looked it up, and I was like, okay, yeah, that says it's going to be perfect. There's supposed to be like 0 shade. We're going to be right in the sun, so let's sunblock. I'm not even bringing a jacket, but I'll bring my hat. And we drove out, and as we start driving, I'm like, honey, I'm not so sure that we're going to the same place. We're pretty sure where we ended up was not the same place because we were no longer in Boise. We were in a place called Idaho City, which apparently has a whole bunch of other fun stuff there that we were not aware of. But we ended up under very large evergreen trees. My daughter was thrilled because we got to explain to her the difference between like needles on a tree and what pine cones were, and we had a great time walking. But we were deeply in the shade and I had no jacket, so that was not great. This last weekend, yesterday, we decided to just walk along the Boise Greenbelt. So we're right along the Boise River, super easy to find, beautiful water there. My daughter got to meet a couple of dogs, which always means she had a great day. So trying to get out and walk some more. Then we also did some organizing in our garage, which kind of led into other little miniature home improvement projects. Unclogging a sink that needed to be done. We bought a new shower head. Kind of boring little things, inside and outside. Some of them are a little bit more fun, and we've been trying to do, like I've been meaning to do for 2 years. I have some garden boxes where I grow vegetables, and I've been meaning to build like a greenhouse kind of cover to go over where my strawberries are, which would help protect it from the birds and also keep it a little bit warm. And I already get some okay strawberries, but it was one of those where it's like, let's get some better ones. And I mean, the whole thing took me maybe 45 minutes, cut some wood, put these little like bendable pipes over, and then covered it in a plastic. Super easy, and now my strawberries are protected from birds, but over a couple of years I was doing so much schoolwork and studying that things like that got put off, and now we're slowly having the time to do things like that, and it's exhausting but also pretty wonderful to actually have that time. Outside of all of that, I mean, I'd love to say it was a whole bunch of super fun stuff. The walking and getting out in the nature and seeing a little bit more in our area is great, but a lot of the other stuff is still just kind of work. Cleaning, catching up on life. I mean, we took clothes to be donated to a local thrift store, got rid of recycling. Like, things like that are not exciting, but they're important, and it slowly makes you feel like you're catching up on life. I've also done a little bit of organizing with some of my yarn, so some future projects, like I'm wound up. I mean, I'm so excited that I got to get started on a scrappy project already. Like, this is my second scrappy project starting, and I'm slowly working through stuff. I'm not sure why it's kind of important to me to go through some of these scrap yarns now, but I really just kind of decided that, nope, I need to get that done. It's time. I want it done. And it's making me feel better to have a plan to work through some of it. This one blanket is not going to take all of the yarn that I have of this amount. It seems to be the most frequently leftover amount I have from making socks. So I probably could make at least 2 blankets like that, like identical blankets. Well, not identical, different color, but identical pattern. I might not do that again next time. I'm thinking of options for it, but it's nice that when I am done with this, I'm going to have a huge chunk of my scrap yarn used up. And that is something that I feel like is going to be nice. I love using brand new yarn. I mean, clearly, as I have yet to have a single episode without any brand new yarn, I like brand new yarn. But it's nice to know that I'm going to be getting rid of some stuff that's just because I've used it once doesn't mean it's not good anymore. And if I'm not going to use it, I should find somebody else who will. So that's really all that I have for right now. I'm going to go ahead and end here because as I am filming later in the weekend than I normally would, I do definitely need to film and then go directly into making sure I edit, or this will not be up when I want it to be. So that is all that I have for you today. Thank you for sitting and listening to me babble on. Have a wonderful rest of your day and have a wonderful making.